We have Marshall Cohen, the Executive Director of Lift for Life Academy and Gym in studio, and we'll highlight national champion weightlifter Derrick Johnson's quest to make the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. So stay with us for this and much more coming up next on Inside Sports. And welcome to the show. On our first segment today, we have a man who continues to support youth programs in St. Louis. He is the Executive Director of the St. Louis Lift for Life Academy and Gym. And at this time, we'd like to welcome Marshall Cohen to Inside Sports. Marshall, thanks a lot for joining us. You know, us here in St. Louis, we like to, to thank and, give props to people like you who spend your time, promoting youth programs. Now, Lift for Life has been around for quite some time right now, and this is actually, this is your deal. You founded this, didn't you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. We started 19 years ago down on Washington Avenue before Washington Avenue was the place. But yeah, we're going strong and serve 300-400 boys and girls a year. That's
fantastic. Now, what gave you the idea 19, 20 years ago to get the Lift for Life program going?
I was working at my dad's store, Globe Drug, down in the city, and just saw a lot of kids coming in from the projects and not having anything to do. They'd come in and maybe steal candy or just like hang out. And I said, hey, I'm thinking of opening up a gym. And it was right around when the crack epidemic and the gangs were really starting in the city. And I thought, we got to do something. And I bought a bunch of weightlifting equipment, and I rented a place on Washington Avenue and started with 2 kids, and there you have it.
Now, did you actually name the gym yourself, or how did that come about?
I had one of the homeless friend that I knew. I was throwing around this idea, and I was thinking of calling it Bulldog's Gym, and he goes, "Why don't you call it Lift for Life, since the kids are going to be lifting weights and things like that?" And I thought, wow, that was pretty good.
So one of the homeless guys actually helped you out naming that, huh?
Yeah, and I didn't have to pay him.
Well, you probably fed him, though, a little
there
bit,
you
huh?
go, right.
Or he fed himself with the candy he was visiting. Yeah. What about Washington Avenue back in those days? I mean, I remember in high school when that was a notorious place, to kind of avoid at that point in time. So it was a pretty tough area, and you've, the city of St. Louis and some programs like this have really helped turn that part of the city around.
Yeah, and we were there for, I don't know, about 8 years or so, but I didn't realize, our rent was the only place I could get for like $200 a month. And I didn't know how cheap it was until springtime came, and then the rain season came, and it was just raining buckets in the gym, and it was kind of funny. But eventually we moved over to Cass Avenue, 14th and Cass, and that's where we've been ever since.
Now, there's a difference now. There's Lift for Life Academy, and there's Lift for Life Gym. Could you kind of differentiate the two for me?
Yeah, 7 years ago we decided, we're helping all these kids with weightlifting, bodybuilding, exercise, all this stuff, but wouldn't it be great to help them with their academics? So we decided to open up a charter middle school and work with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And we have 250 kids, and we're going into our 8th year.
That's fantastic. And so that's the academy side. So the difference is the gym's over here, and the academy, you're actually, is it kind of like an after-school study program, or is it tutoring, or how does that work?
It's an actual school, a middle school, and it's a public school. So any student in the city, any child that goes to 6th, 7th, or 8th can come to our school, and it's just like a normal school. And we have the traditional hours, and it's a really good program.
There's a lot of corporate support, too. I remember several years back, Tony Banks was involved, the quarterback for the St. Louis Rams, and you've had quite a few celebrities and key sponsors helping you out with Lift for Life.
Yeah, I remember Tony Banks. Wow, that's bringing back some memories.
Blast from the past.
Yeah, and Marshall Falk was real instrumental in helping us get equipment, and Colin Powell has been down to the gym a couple times, and he just likes coming down and meeting the kids. So it's fun. It's a good way to meet people, but also it's really good because the kids have a great outlet. It's free. No matter where they live in the city, we'll come and pick them up, and it's a great place for them to come and work out and have fun.
Well, it sure is a great place, and we've got an excellent story about a success story. But Lift for Life is definitely a great program, which has benefited so many young people in St. Louis. Our Inside Sports crew recently visited the Lift for Life Gym to show you a tremendous success story. Let's take a look. Derrick Johnson is a young man from St. Louis who has his sights set on becoming a member of the U.S. weightlifting team at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing.
I'm top 7 in the country right now, and I think my chances are just as good as anyone else's.
And they may be better than most, as Johnson is #1 in the nation in the 136-pound weight class and is the American collegiate record holder with a 62 kilogram in the snatch and clean and jerk.
These lifts, you have to be technically sound and just explosive and powerful. The snatch is the lift straight from the ground, straight above your head. The clean jerk is when you come to the shoulders, set back up, and get ready for a jerk.
As a youngster, Derrick faced the challenges of growing up on the streets of St. Louis. But his life changed one day when a close family friend introduced Derrick to the Lift for Life Academy at the corner of Cass and 14th Street.
What led me to Lift for Life was my sister's friend, D'Amico Wilkerson. He would always tell me about this gym he used to go to, all these trophies he had, and these medals. So being 12 years old, I was thinking, oh, I want these medals and trophies. What kid wouldn't want that?
And while training at Lift for Life, director Marshall Cohen saw something special in Derrick and took him under his wing.
Marshall Cohen has given me a great opportunity to get off of the streets and travel all around the country. Remember my first year I started lifting, we went to the Junior Olympics in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I had never really even been out the state really, so I thought it was a fun, great trip. That's what made me come back and train harder the next year and the years after that.
Johnson trains 5 days a week at Lift for Life in his quest for Olympic glory. But he hasn't forgotten about his roots in the St. Louis community and how important a program like this can be to a youngster growing up in the inner city.
Some of the kids that are running the streets, they get caught up in the system. They get locked up constantly. They're stealing cars, selling drugs, or just trying to be like their older brothers and cousins or whatever else like that. So I think by being here, you get a chance to see what other people have done. People going to college. People graduate from high school.
Following in Derrick's footsteps are his younger brothers Darren and Daryl, who are staying focused by working out at the Lift for Life Academy.
Derrick has taught me to stay off the streets. He introduced me into Lift for Life, and someday I want to become a weightlifting champion just like him.
Through the sport of weightlifting, Derrick Johnson has had an opportunity to travel around the world and meet many influential people, including Colin Powell and Marshall Falk. And he credits the Lift for Life Academy for his success.
You get to see what competition is like. You get to build that one-on-one self-esteem with yourself. There's nobody else but you. When you go on that platform, it's just you. This is not even about weightlifting here. This is about just building the person's life. I just want to be remembered as somebody that's helped, not someone that's training for the Olympics or won all these titles, just someone that truly tried to help.
And Derrick Johnson, a true success story over at Lift for Life and Academy. I tell you, Marshall, seeing stories like that kind of give you goosebumps. I'm sure you've seen a lot of stories like that, but Derrick possibly going to the Olympics must be right up there at the top.
Oh, it's exciting. I hope he's successful. But whether, like he made his point in the shoot, whether he goes or not, it's the main thing of keeping positive, getting into a positive activity, and if he makes it to Beijing, I'll be there. I know that Northwest Airlines has good fares going out there, so but it's good, and it's really motivating to see that because sometimes you're in it and you don't really realize what's going on. And
well, sometimes I guess yourself, you're in an administrative part a lot,
yeah.
And then you finally get to see somebody that you may helped groom earlier in their career or their life, and you see it come to fruition. How does that make you feel?
It's pretty good because I'll never forget the Charlotte trip. I didn't get any sleep over 5 days, and I think we took like 30, 35 kids, and it was a good experience. And Derrick made a good point that after you experience it and get out of St. Louis and not just look at your 2-block radius, what it's endless, the boundaries, no matter if it's weightlifting, soccer, food, whatever,
So I guess the moral of the story is if you work hard, you come to Lift for Life, and you put in all the hard work, then there's a chance you might get to travel and experience some success as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity.
How about that? I think he was telling me that was the first time he'd ever left St. Louis, so it was just tremendously exciting for him. And what about his younger brothers and the other kids in the neighborhood that see Derrick, they see him out there focused, graduating from high school, going to college, like he said, and that's got to be a motivating factor for some of the other kids to have someone to look up to, a role model like Derrick.
Right, because a lot of kids, no matter where you're from, they don't a lot of kids don't see that, and they need to be around, positive role models. And it's great because Derrick has come back to coach, and he's one of our two coaches there right now.
There's a lot of other things going on at the gym there. I know you can play basketball there, and they've got a neat program to take care of some of the hunger for the kids down there as well, too, don't
Yeah, we just redid our kitchen, so we serve meals 3 nights a week, and we're also starting a guest chef program where local chefs from around the city will come and do work with small groups of kids and teach them about the culinary arts.
Now, does it cost any money for the kids to come to your gym?
It's free. We're not a United Way agency. All of our donations or solicitations, we go out and ask for funding. So it's free for the kids, and we've tried over 19 years to keep it free.
Now, I want to talk about sponsors one more time. How important it is to sponsor this, and who are some of the top sponsors that have really kept Lift for Life going over the years?
It's a great question. Like the Taste of Clayton has been really instrumental in helping us with our funding. Marshall Falk has been a funder. Old Newsboy Day, the Variety Club, it's endless, where a lot of really good corporate and actually a lot of individual donors have really helped the agency grow.
Fantastic. And if anybody wants to get a hold of Lift for Life, if they would like to participate or perhaps volunteer or definitely donate money or sponsor a program, who would they contact and how would they go about it?
Sure. Telephone 436-2337 and the website liftforlife.org, liftforlife.org.
How about that?
Yeah.
And Derrick's quest for the Olympics, he is the national champion right now in the USA, and it looks like his shot is pretty good to making the team.
That'd be great. We're looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we might see you in China. Who knows?
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot,
Okay.
Marshall. All right, Marshall Cohen, Lift for Life Executive Director. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break now, but stay with us because Al Trost, who led St. Louis University to 2 straight soccer national champions, will join us. But right after the break, we have our Inside Sports Flashback, highlighting the illustrious career of Darryl Duran. We'll be right back.